But we are going back to the basics. We're going to do a whole roasted chicken first. I call it the countdown chicken, and I'll explain the process when we come back. But the first, most important thing we got to do, bring it up to room temperature, maybe just 30 minutes sitting on the counter, and you want to pat it dry. And I'll explain why this is the most important step in roasting a chicken. But you got to stay right here. All right.
Class is starting early this morning with Troy's Everyday Eats. It is time for Chicken 101. That's right. Professor Troy is here.
Look, I like doing this every now and then just because I get a lot of questions asked about chicken. You know, hey, my chicken's always dry, or I can never get it cooked through.
And it's a staple, so you want it to be good.
You know, I did a little research. It's just now getting to the point where more people are eating chicken than beef, and I always had thought that, you know, we just eat more chicken.
Sure.
I guess the average person eats 50 to 60 pounds of chicken, but for beef, it's like 65 to 70.
Wow.
So, all right, so we're going to start with the whole roasted chicken. We'll get to the chicken breast in the 8 o'clock hour. And at the break, the most important thing I'll say, if you skip any of these other steps in the recipe, don't skip this one, which is making sure it's dry.
Besides cooking it, that's an important step.
That's a pretty important step.
And washing your hands when dealing with chicken.
Okay, so there's more than one important step.
And wrapping your board with plastic wrap.
All right, so we're not going to skip any steps. But you have to make sure that you dry the chicken, because if you're going to roast it, and it's wet, it's not going to roast. It's just going to be wet. And you'll see what this thing looks like.
Even on the inside.
You want to get in there and get on the inside. So here, we'll just get rid of that. All right. So we're going to take a little bit of oil, not much, just enough to kind of coat it a little bit. And what I've got here is a fryer. A fryer is going to be 3 to 4 pounds. A roaster is going to be 4 to 5 pounds. So on the recipe online, there's a chart. Because this is the countdown chicken, so we're going to start in a pan, we're going to finish it in the oven. So there's a chart that if you're using, you know, a fryer, you need to start it at 300 or 400 degrees. If it's a roaster, which is bigger, you're going to start the oven at 425.
How many people does this one usually feed?
You know, it could go 4.
Okay.
You know, unless I'm there for dinner. It's still going to be more like 2.5. So the thing is, you want to make sure it's seasoned really well, outside, inside, back, front, the whole deal.
All of it.
All right, so the whole deal with this countdown chicken, so we're going to start in the pan, we're going to finish in the oven, and every 15 minutes you're going to change the temperature. You're going to lower it little by little. All right, so
countdown.
We got a pan, about medium-high heat. Now this looks real simple, but it can easily be screwed up if you don't dry it off. It's got to be dry. We'll get those wings tucked in there. You want to make sure it's nice and flat. If you want to truss it, tie it up, and make it into a little ball, knock yourself out. I think it works better if it's flat.
Okay, great. And we're going to let that go for
2 to 3 minutes on each side.
Okay, sounds good.
Now, we are using my countdown chicken recipe, which means we're going to start the oven kind of high. We're going to start at 425 for this roaster. We're going to decrease the temperature every 15 minutes by 25 degrees. First, we seared it in a pan. Now we're going to get it in the oven. We're going to start that countdown. You got to stay right here. All right.
We're doing countdown chicken this morning, and we're trying to do math. Not a good idea. Where's Cody?
She's the mathematician.
She can do the math.
Our meteorologist.
I've already done the math. You don't need to do the math.
It's the countdown
all you're doing is confusing me.
Explain the countdown process.
It's kind of on here.
So we seared the chicken off, and I'm going to show this to the oven real quick. So we're in the lower oven here. So we started at 425.
Okay.
So every 15 minutes, you're going to lower the temperature by 25 degrees. So every 15 minutes for an hour and 15 minutes. So you're going to go from 425, then down to 400, 375, 350, 325, and then you pull it out and you let it rest.
Perfect. Okay.
And it is perfect.
It is perfect.
The thing with the you really are screwing with the head right now. All right, so I got the finished product over here. We have let it rest for about 15 minutes. Now, you know, we've got the nice diamond Swiss cookware that we use a lot.
Look at that.
But I am very partial to cast iron. It holds its heat very well. It's nice and even. But you can do it in any kind of pan that you can start on the stove and finish in the oven.
Okay. You have like a Dutch oven or something like that.
Also, invest in a timer. Make sure in the deepest part of the thigh, and you want to take a second temperature in the breast. White meat always cooks faster than dark meat, but you want to make sure it gets up to about 155, 160, because it's going to, the carryover temperature is going to take it over 160. All right, let's get rid of this.
Right.
So just be careful when you pick it up, because it's going to be juicy. Now I've dumped most of this out, but you can see all the juice in the bottom of that pan. So when you got it in the pan before you put it in the oven, you're really crisping that skin, but you're rendering out some of that fat, so it's actually going to help for the roasting process. The way I like to carve it, we probably won't get all this done. I just like starting with the thighs, just kind of going down in like that, because there can be some excess.
All that juice.
Yeah, juice in there, so you got to be careful. I mean, check that out.
Wow, that is perfect.
That's moist chicken right there.
And hour and 15 minutes. It's going to take you just a little bit longer than that, just because you're going to start with the pan. You want to set it out about 30 minutes. But if you've got a couple hours to spare, glass of wine, a couple beers or whatever, you can have the perfect roasted chicken. The recipe's already online.
Okay, I like that. Thank you, Troy.
I could eat just the skins.
I know, right?
I could just eat those like they're like
Adam's already claimed the skin.
Good.
Today, we're back to the basics of the chicken. Now, we've already done our roasted chicken, perfectly countdown roasted chicken. Now we're going to move over into smaller cuts. We're going to do some bone-in chicken breasts. We're going to do some boneless chicken breasts. I'm going to serve this with a little black-eyed peas and some fried okra. So I'm going to start cutting up this andouille sausage. We're going to add a little oil to this pan. We're going to get that sauteing. When we come back, we'll start on those chicken breasts right here. All right.
With Chef Troy this morning, we're doing the countdown chicken and making it real good.
Right, so we've done the countdown chicken, super simple. I'm telling you, if there's any recipes that you ever check out of mine, that is the one.
No one.
It's foolproof, I'm telling you.
Impress all your
perfect chicken every single time. And you don't have to just eat it like that and carve it. You can make it into a million different things.
Okay, so we did that last hour. Now what are we doing?
All right, so we're going to do the chicken breast here in a minute. I just wanted to serve us with a little something since we didn't have a side dish for that. So we're going to do some black-eyed peas. I've got some andouille sausages that I've sauteed in there. I'm going to add, I just got these pickled cherry peppers I'm going to put in there, a little bit of garlic.
cherry peppers.
And then I guess I'm going to have you cut the green onion.
Yes, you're letting me chop something this week. This is big. I should probably wash my hands.
I'm going to go ahead and get set up and put the black-eyed peas in there.
What year was it the last time she was allowed to chop something?
She never has. No. Period.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so just watch all your digits. That's all I'm saying. All right, so we've got the spice mix here. We're going to season that up. And then we'll just wait on your onions. Okay,
yeah,
so
no worries.
we heard the timer.
Yeah.
So we got another, the chicken that we did on air is in there. So now we're doing the countdown. So we're going to hit the lower oven. We're going to lower that to 350 degrees because we're lowering it every 25 degrees every 15 minutes. So then set the timer for 15 minutes.
Yeah, but hang on. It didn't take the first thing.
Uh-oh. Here, you're on timer, I believe.
Oh, well, you still have the time. Oh, hang on. Now I got to hit that.
There you go.
There.
You're on 350, so start. Now hit the timer for 15. Okay. See why I do everything?
Exactly.
Of course, you're almost done with
the one who broke it.
Whoa.
I broke it.
Hey, guys. So, this is your good knife? Sorry.
Wow. Well, are you bashed on my knife? All right, we better get to this chicken or we're not going to get done. Okay. All right, so you're done here. Let's scoop that in.
You notice how she blames the knife.
I know, right? I had to have something to blame.
A good chef never blames their tools. Unless they're a tool. Just made that up, just right there.
That was good.
All right, so Derek, I'm going to have you stir that up with a little bit of chicken stock. All right, we got to get onto this chicken. I'm going to add a little bit of vinegar to that. All right, so we've got two different kinds. I mean, it's both chicken. They're both, one's bone in, one has no bone, no skin. I prefer the bone in, skin on. That's just me. But there's two different philosophies here. The one with the skin and the bone, this is going to be your slow, soft and slow.
Okay.
The chicken breast without the skin is going to be hard and fast. Okay. Which means we've got skillets going over there. So let's see. I got stuff on my hands. Will you season? Let's season these first, or that one, either one. All right. So we're going to get this one in the pan. A little bit of oil, non-stick pan, right in the pan. Just a nice light sizzle. But it's going to cook. You're going to sear it on that side really, really hard.
Do you see why I go through this like once a week?
Hey, you're seasoning it perfectly. You've got to be generous. It's a big, thick piece of meat.
There we go.
So same thing with these. We're going to put a little oil in the pan. And now these, you can see in the bottom, that's got that piece of the rib. That's a natural rack. So after we season it on this side, we're going to turn it over. It'll create a nice little natural rack. We're going to finish the one without the skin of the bone in the pan. These we're going to finish in the oven at 325.
All right, full rest.
Hear that sizzle? We're getting to the chicken. You know, we're going to fry up a little bit of okra. Got that and some cornmeal. We've got our black-eyed peas going. That's just something to go with our chicken. Now check out this chicken breast. This is the boneless, skinless. Got a nice crust on that. We're doing that hard and fast in the pan. The ones that have the bone on them, we're going to flip those over. We're going to get those in a 325-degree oven and let them roast until they're nice and moist and juicy. You got to stay right here on Rise and see how it all wraps up.
To wrap things up, so much good chicken everywhere.
Yes.
And it's,
Look at you.
I was having a conversation with Adam behind the camera in between a break, and he was saying, how can you keep the chicken from going dry? And basically, there's only one answer to that, and that's just don't overcook it.
Okay.
And
nothing you can do after the fact.
You definitely don't want to. There's that fine line. Like when we took the chicken out, our countdown chicken. I temp it in 2 different places. I usually temp it in the breast, and I temp it right in the deepest part of the thigh. Make sure it doesn't touch the bone, because that's going to give you a false reading, because the bone's going to be hot, or if you haven't cooked all the way through, it's going to be too cold. But you want to get it to 165 at the safe zone. So here's the trick, is that if you get it to 165 in the oven and you let it rest, it's going to keep cooking up.
Right.
You might undercook it. But with this method that we've got, the countdown chicken, if you lower the heat every 15 minutes, 25 degrees, from starting up either 400 or 425, depending on the size of your chicken, it's going to be perfect at 115 or an hour and 15 minutes, but still temp it, and it's going to be. I mean, look at this.
Did you learn that from someone, or how'd you?
No, it's just a method that I tried at home, because we eat so much chicken, and I don't know, I had stuff going on, and I was like, man, I really got to get this thing done, so I'm going to start it faster. So I started it, at a higher temperature than I normally would. All right, so the chicken breast without the bone is here. We're going to just take that out and let it set. I'm going to grab the one out of the oven. They're not quite done yet, but I'm going to show you anyway. These are the ones with the bone in, skin on. We'll just set that here.
You need a little muscle for those cast irons.
Yeah, definitely don't have. I have a little muscle. All right, so to plate this up, we're going to take some of these tomatoes and throw those in there. Derek, I'm going to have you stir those up. And then I'm going to take this chicken. Now, we should let it rest a little bit, but when you go to the fresh market, you get the antibiotic, hormone-free. You definitely don't want to mess it up. You want to make sure you treat it right, you get it to the right temperature. I like taking that out. So I don't know if you can see that on camera, but look how moist and juicy that is.
We have about 30 seconds left in the show.
So we'll just cut a few pieces of this up, like that. We'll take some of the black-eyed peas. Derek, I'm going to have you get some of that okra out of there.
Eaters.
Yeah, well, there's one thing. You're going to eat a lot of chicken. It's usually pretty economical, so it's one of those things you're going to cook a lot of.
All right, full recipes, WCCBCharlotte.com.
Thanks so much, Troy. And don't forget, we got WCCB News at 10 tonight with Morgan and Will on The Edge. After that, see you tomorrow.